What's going on, everybody? This is episode 31 of the First and Framerates podcast, and I am Silent Gamer. And today we have a handful of topics to talk about. My co-hosts Bills and DJ81, they are not here today. They had other obligations today, so I will be the only one on the podcast. And today we have a handful of topics. I want to talk about some, a few personal things as far as what happened to me in gaming. Also, I want to talk about this NFL helmet rule. I also want to talk about more NBA Live stuff, because right now, to me, that's the big thing that's on the burner right now as far as NBA Live and my thoughts about it. And I guess we could talk about a few more other things that just come to my mind, but mostly it's just going to be those three topics. And first, I'm going to get into the new link to get to this podcast. We always been putting things up on YouTube. We always have been putting things up just on that avenue, so where you can just listen to the podcast that way. And I know there's a way that, when you use that avenue, you will end up using a lot of data, because we usually go around 2 hours, maybe a little bit over, as far as listening to the podcast. Well, now I'm going to put the podcast up on SoundCloud. If you haven't checked out my Twitter, it is at VFBaller. Again, the Twitter handle is at VFBaller. And on my pinned tweet, I have where you can subscribe, or you can just follow me on SoundCloud, to where you can just get the episodes to the podcast straight up. So for all intents and purposes, if you want to listen to the podcast without using so much data, always having to be on YouTube listening to us, you can go ahead and get it on SoundCloud. And I think there's an option where you can download the podcast, or you can at least listen to the podcast and have it in the background of your mobile device, and you don't have to worry about just being on one app and it may burn out your device or whatever the case may be. So there, once again, the SoundCloud will be on my Twitter. I will probably put it down in the link in the description of this episode of the podcast, or this clip of the podcast, and there you can get the entire podcast over there. I'm also thinking about, I'm not thinking about it, it's going to be put to place soon. I'm thinking about, I'll just say that again, I'm sorry. I'm going to push the podcast onto iTunes as well, possibly where you can use it on your favorite podcast app or whatever the case may be, and that's where it's going to be. So hopefully you guys have more access to it, have more people to listen, and we can just spread the word on how to become better gamers, on top of talking about sports in general. So that's the direction that we're going on that aspect. But today I want to talk about first some gaming experiences that I had this week, and I kind of chalk it up to me not being really responsible. If you haven't checked out, earlier podcasts or anything on my YouTube channel, that I've moved into another house. Not only that, I moved into this house. My wife, we're expecting, so she's, carrying our new son. And just a lot of things been going on. I've just been trying to do things, move stuff around, get this game room together, and moving things around the house, painting, and getting things together. And one thing I just totally forgot. I forgot to clean my computer. My gaming PC has not been cleaned in a while, and I always wondered why my computer kept shutting off, or why I just been having this issue with it. It wouldn't run up to full capacity. It would go haywire when I tried, higher resolutions such as 1440p. And, I thought it was a faulty power supply, and I didn't know what it was. But, something just told me, well, look, you used to clean your PC on the regular. Why don't you clean your computer? I had so much going on, so I actually opened it up, and man, there's been so much dust in this computer to the point where I almost got sick. It was so bad. And I was kind of embarrassed that I just treated my computer this way. I have a mid-level PC, nothing really flashy. I can run 1440p games, but when I was struggling to run games at 1080p at times, and it would just shut off when, like say for instance, when I ran some games at 4K, it would just shut off completely. I was really getting nervous. I thought I was going to have to get rid of this computer or whatever and just pretty much build another one. Now, I am in the process of building a new one, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. But in the meantime, I still want to play games on my computer. So I was really nervous. But, I mean, just basic stuff, guys. I mean, if you're a PC gamer, I know this is going without saying. I know people are probably going to talk, all kind of mess to me, say everything under the sun, but man, trust me, guys, I was just busy, man. So much stuff been going on since February. I did not get a chance to, it kind of just slipped my mind. One of the things I've always done at least every other week was just clean out my computer, and I haven't cleaned it out in probably almost maybe 6 months, and it was running just fine, but all of a sudden things just went kind of haywire. But once I cleaned it out, got all the dust out of it, and, it's been running like a champ, and nothing's happened since. So that's one thing. If you do get a PC, some people like to play on consoles and just like the convenience of just plug and play and go. But, I mean, I take pride in my PC, man. I love that I built this PC with my own two hands, and the fact that it runs the way it runs, I'm just, I take pride in it. Like I said, I mean, for me, I love building computers. So for me, I mean, that's with me. I do love the convenience of consoles, but just to have something that you can call your own that's custom made, and you can play the latest and greatest games on it. I just think that's something that's pretty cool. So just word to the wise. I mean, most people who are PC gamers, you already know, clean out your PCs. Don't be a dumbass like me, and just have issues with your PC and you not knowing what you're doing, or you just fail to do so. But It was scary. I really admit it was, but yeah, just simple. Other than that, man, gaming has been fun this week. I've just been sitting back here playing games, played a few more college titles, playing a little bit more games on my PC. Just really enjoying games in general. I touched on some little bit of Madden, played NBA 2K14. Yes, I have the updated rosters to that. Ultimate NBA 2K. That's his Twitter handle. He does an amazing mod, and there's also a UBR mod for NBA 2K14. So those two routes, if you're not really feeling the newer titles, which I know most people are, but I just feel that with that mod and just playing the games on that aspect, I don't have to wait for the new game. I'd already have the updated rosters for it. I really think that's a good choice to have if you have a PC. I mean, the games are now dirt cheap, and it's very easy to mod. So just a good alternative to have. So yeah, we'll get into more basketball games a little bit later. Let's talk about the NFL. The NFL is just right now, preseason is just a mess. I took a vow not to watch preseason for the most part. I mean, I just haven't had interest in the NFL in general. But for the league to have this rule for helmet, lowering a helmet penalty, it has gotten outrageous. I mean, my God, I'm looking at some things here on Twitter to where some of these clips, it is really bad. I don't even. I just go on Google and just not go on Google. Go on Twitter and just put in the search bar lowering helmet penalty, and you can go to the videos and you can just look at some of these penalties or some of these plays that was called penalties. It is just absolutely abysmal, and I don't know if this is just a test run for preseason and things are just going to change once the season starts, but. It looks really bad right now to the point where the football could possibly be ruined if this keeps up. Some plays are actually like textbook tackles where guys are just pretty much squaring up, wrapping up ball carriers, and just wrapping them and putting them to the ground. And just because they're lowering a helmet, not their helmet, as long as they're lowering their shoulders and squaring up, their head is attached to their shoulders. It's going to happen. But it could become a real serious issue. I know there's some people out there trying to defend it, but it's very hard when you're trying to do a textbook tackle. That's what you're taught. Your head is going to go where your shoulders go. In some cases, these shoulders are hitting the player, and the helmet is going to the side of the body, just like you're taught to hit with the shoulder. And some of these some of these plays are just abysmal. I mean, I saw another play about roughing the passer, another penalty. They called it Aaron Rodgers penalty where the guy just sacked the quarterback, looked like a textbook sack, and say he drove him to the ground or whatever the case may be. I don't know, man. It's very hard to deal with that type of momentum and try to, stop yourself, because the main objective is to tackle the person who's holding the ball. And in some cases, you're just going to go faster than you. Sometimes you're just going to go faster than your brain really tells you to go. That's just pure instincts. You're just going to tackle harder than you think you could at times. That's just your instincts. It's going to happen, And with that being said, it's just going to be a situation where things are just going to go really haywire to the point where football could possibly be ruined. I don't know what to do about it. Let me know what you guys think about the whole situation with lowering the helmet, sacking the quarterback, defenseless receiver. All this stuff is not making any sense to me at the end of the day. It's just, like I said, just textbook tackles are just being called 15-yard penalties. I mean, let's look at the flip side to it too. We know why this is happening. We know that the NFL is trying to protect themselves from lawsuits, and we all know that. It is what it is, and it's just this with this sport. You just got to take the good with the bad. It's just stuff like this is just going to happen. I don't know what else to tell you as far as, well, maybe we should do this, maybe we should do that. I don't know, because the way I look at it is like, it's just going to be where you're going to have players just constantly just do this because this is what they're taught. You cannot teach no one to tackle another way. What is there another way to tackle with your chest? Look, I don't know how many people understand this or remember this. I remember in Madden 15 where players were animated to actually tackle with their chest, and it was abysmal. It was terrible. It's like everybody was just running into each other and falling over. Speaking of that, look like Madden, with all the flaws in it, that's where a majority of people are probably going to get their football fixed because of this call. You're going to see a lot of gamers just say, you know what, I'm not going to really watch too much. I'll watch the highlights and keep it going and just play Madden, where Madden, for all intents and purposes, some of these hits in Madden are actually pretty decent. Some of these hits in Madden will probably get a 15-yard penalty because it's just the way everything is brought up right now. So I'm kind of worried about that. So just let me know what you guys think as far as that goes. And we're just going to keep chugging along. What's the next topic? NBA Live. Let's see. NBA Live. I like what I see with NBA Live as far as gameplay goes. I don't think it's a bad game at all. But this looks like it's going to be straight street ball. I'm on the NBA Live website right now. And right now, that's all they're talking about. Court customization, play in the streets. They barely have anything to talk about the actual playing NBA basketball. Everything up and down this entire website, that's all they're talking about. Playing on street courts, rookie ratings. That's probably like the closest thing they have to anything that's outside the street is actual ratings for rookies, top 5 point guards, and all the other positions. And I don't know. I'm looking at it to where this may be just a straight street ball game, and I don't know if anybody would actually take it serious outside of the street ball. And I don't have a problem with it. Playing street ball is great. Some people really love playing that aspect of it. They're trying to get that aspect down to where people can actually play with their friends and all this other stuff. Maybe they do have something in franchise mode or just playing actually head-to-head games on the NBA teams. They maybe have that on the back burner. Maybe we'll see it in a demo, whatever the case may be. But right now, I don't see anything outside of it except for one little part of the website, and it says dynamic commentary. Discover hours and hours of unique commentary and monthly updates throughout the season, keeping each game fresh and exciting. Now with that, I'm thinking that could be a part of franchise mode, or that could be where somebody could just play on the street and the commentary over the street we'll talk about stuff happening throughout the NBA season. I don't know. And maybe that's a play now thing. You play now or you play head to head. They'll talk about stuff throughout the season. But I see nothing. I see nothing about anything about franchise mode, and I'm actually really concerned about it. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's something that you just put on the back burner and they may have the mode and it's just not getting any attention, or they're just going to phase it out altogether. I'm really concerned about it because of what NBA 2K is doing. They look like they're on their way to continue to be the top dog when it comes to basketball gaming. I really like what they've done with the past few NBA 2Ks. As far as just capturing everything on the NBA level to get what people can feel like they're getting a full NBA experience. NBA Live just it just seems like they're just going after the my player, my team, not my team, the my player crowd, because they don't even talk about the ultimate team aspect of NBA Live. And that's really something that they leaned heavily on for the past few years. And like I said, it's just have me really concerned about the franchise in general. Is it just going to be an NBA Live street game where you just play a bunch of street ball? If that is, I can't take it serious as a sim game anymore, because simulation is based on what you see in the NBA, like any football game. Let's say Madden. Madden is attempting to be a sim game based on what you see on Sundays or Thursdays or Mondays. And it's just, I don't see where it's going to be replicated in NBA Live. So I'm kind of, like I said, I'm really kind of worried about that. Also, we could talk about NHL franchise mode. I mean, that is something I'm going to talk about a little bit later, because that just crossed my mind, and I'm really going to jump into that as well. So that's another thing that really got me going. NBA Live, we talked about the lowering the helmet of the NFL players. We also talked about gaming issues that I've had. But since we are continuing to just keep going, my co-hosts are not here, and that's understandable. They have other things to do. But we're going to talk about NHL 19, where the franchise mode, speaking of franchise mode, is probably like one of the biggest upgrades. They revamped it big time, and the scouting engine is really nice. I love what they've done. They have innovative amateur scouting where you can basically go on and scout your amateurs throughout. Let's see, I'm looking at it right here. You get a report where you could talk insightful information about prospects entering the NHL. The reports include skills assessment, scout rank, other information like player skater style, and also ratings have they add an element of risk and reward. Now, this is coming straight from the website. Whereas select a prospect based on a confident assessment from your scouts that could be the difference between drafting an elite potential prospect. Your scouts will recommend which gems to go after, who might be bust, and who to avoid when drafting. Fog of War. Now, this is something interesting I haven't heard of. I read over it, but I didn't know about it. But this requires your scouts to watch teams and reveal update info on players that you want to acquire. I don't even need to go further with that. That right there is just fantastic already. It gives you that level of, you're controlling all aspects of the players that you're bringing in on top of your franchise. And they will provide updated ratings with level of accuracy to show how confident they are in their evaluation. And the personality assessment they have will also be available, which will give you an idea of how players will affect team morale, what kind of fit they'll be in the locker room. And that's like, they're really, look at that, team morale and what kind of fit they'll be in the locker room. That's something way more, that's more advanced than any other game that I know right now. I think Madden 08 or Madden 07 had the little, the weapons trait where you can have team distraction. That was pretty cool, but this right here is bringing it back in this, where you can see that, that's pretty neat. And then they go through all of that, but before acquiring that player, you'll want to have your scouts clear the fog of war to see if the player's ratings actually changed in any way. So you get all this information, and by playing or simulating games against other teams is another way to clear that fog of war. So just to show that if anything changed based on what your scouts say. So that is actually pretty interesting. Those are the few things that they had with the scouting, and that alone right there, just adding that to what they already had in 18, just makes franchise mode maybe more immersive than any other game out there, especially any game that's made by EA right now. And NBA 2K does their great job with their franchise mode, what they're trying to do with what's the game called? NBA 2K. Sorry about that. NBA 2K has done very good with their franchise mode, with what they're doing as far as mentorship, you can mentor a certain player, and with the My League and all this other stuff. And I don't have the notes in front of me, but we talked about that in an earlier podcast, which you could check. And it just basically talks about how much higher and higher they're trying to go with this franchise mode. But right now, it looks like NHL and NBA 2K are the top of the class when it comes to franchise mode, and I'm really excited about that. I really like the way this is going, and I'm definitely going to probably end up picking up NHL 19 day one. I have 18. I think 18 is fantastic, but 19 is where it's at, and I'm really excited about that. Anything else I want to cover before I close this out? I think for the most part, I'm just enjoying what I'm doing right now. DJ and Bills, I can't thank them guys enough for being a part of the podcast. I'm actually trying to move things to a higher level, more easier for you guys to access the podcast. Like I said, SoundCloud, I'll put the link down there in the description so you guys can catch it. You can also catch it on my Twitter, where is the Twitter VF Baller is on the pinned tweet. You can check the SoundCloud, and very soon I'm going to try to get this podcast on iTunes or and any other podcast app that you may want to use. So I don't have anything else. I think it's going to be a really short podcast. I don't have any other commentary from the other guys. Like I said, they're out doing their own thing. At the end of the day, we do have lives, and we do this for fun. All we do is ask for you to listen, and we stand by that. I don't see anything changing as of right now. I don't see any monetization in the near future. If anything changes, you'll be the first to know. But as of right now, we just want you to listen, spread the word so more people can listen, and I think that'll keep us afloat for right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and please subscribe, follow me on SoundCloud, and we'll just continue to make this thing grow. You guys take care. Peace.